to help really just now consolidate this, I find it sometimes helpful to use this image here. A pyramid centered on 0, okay? So that we have assets on this side and liabilities on this side. Liabilities on this side. These are measured in quantities here. And we have money at the top and credit at the bottom. So if you just measured everything in the economy, if you went out and you looked at all the balance sheets, okay, and you just, whenever you saw currency as a liability, you added something to the liability side at the currency level, okay? So there's these different points here, right? Gold, currency, deposits, and then credit. So the hierarchy is here. You would wind up with a symmetric pyramid. I'm making it symmetric as if there's a vanishingly small amount of gold, which in fact there is a vanishingly small amount of gold. So let's just say that gold is really even just in the mind. Okay, there's almost none of it compared to the amount of credit. The amount of credit is very large. Okay, there's a pyramid of promises to pay. Credit promises to pay deposits, deposits promises to pay currency, currency promises to pay gold. There's a pyramid all the way up. This image, I think, will be helpful in a minute, but I'm going to let it just percolate there for a little bit. Okay. So this hierarchy is a qualitative hierarchy, right? We're moving on a credit to money axis here. Credit to money, more moneyness as we go up, okay? And more quantity. So quality is here and quantity is here, is the way this image works. I introduced that pyramid for the following reason. To now add a third dimension, right? We started with the financial instruments, financial institutions. Now what I want to emphasize about the monetary system using this diagram is its dynamism, okay? That it is a fluctuating system. It's changing all the time, okay? And at any time scale you want to look at, by the way, okay? If you look at daily clearing of payments, which we will, okay, there's expansion and contraction of credit within the day, okay? If you look at business cycles, expansion and contraction of credit, okay? If you look at the rise and fall of nations, expansion and contraction of credit. So at all time scales, this system is breathing, okay? It's expanding and contracting. And those expansions and contractions, you know, that's the beating heart of the financial system, okay? I can depict in this picture like this, okay? That what happens is, in an expansion, okay, is that the pyramid becomes flatter, okay, and wider, okay? That the amount of credit for a given amount of money increases. The branching ratio, okay, is increasing in a boom. Irrational exuberance, okay? And then in a contraction, okay, it shrinks back down. It gets steeper again, okay? Financial crisis. Expansion, irrational exuberance, contraction, financial crisis. This is the nature of the system. It expands until it hits some limits, and then it collapses until it hits some limits, and then it goes back and forth. And this happens daily. This happens over the business cycle. This happens over the rise and fall of nations. This expansion and contraction, remember I said there are two dimensions here. There's quantity and there's quality. So this expansion and contraction has those two dimensions to it. Okay? In a boom, right, what's happening? Quantities increase. There's an increasing quantity of credit. Increasing quantity of credit. And then in a crisis, there's deleveraging, so-called. So it's collapsing quantity of credit. Both. That's quantity. But there's also quality. In a boom, credit begins to look like money. It moves up this hierarchy. Forms of credit become much more liquid. They become much more usable to make payments with. And in a contraction, you find out that what you have is not money, it's credit, actually. Okay? In a contraction, you find out that gold and currency are not the same thing. You know, that gold is better. You find out that deposits in currency are not the same thing. Currency is better, okay? All the way down. So there's a loss of qualitative distinction between money and credit in the expansion, and then a reassertion of that distinction, okay, in the crisis.